Hello and welcome to the TECHunplugged Videocast. My name is Max Mortillaro. We're going to talk a bit about composable infrastructures today. As you may know, I was at Dell Technologies World in May 2019, and among the things I've seen there, we had some presentation with the fine guys at Tech Field Day, and Liqid was one of the presenting companies. So what Liqid does is pretty awesome. You probably heard about composable infrastructures, which are kind of the next generation of what we're going to see in the data centers in the coming, let's say, couple of years. We already have that in some larger data centers, but not everywhere. So composability is really one way to take resources, pool them, and slice them in any way we want. And the ability to recompose your infrastructure as you need, whether you need to split, for example, let's say, chunks of storage or chunks of GPUs and let's say bits of compute power as well, is one great way to better use resources. One of the things that Sumit Puri, which is the CEO of Liqid, was saying is that in regular data centers, enterprise data centers, we're using 10% of the compute capacity on servers. I mean, this can be tempered if you look at virtualization, right? But it's what it is with bare metal. If you look at larger hyperscaler data centers, the usage grows to around 30%. And that's what, let's say, where composability comes into play. You can really have a large aggregate of resources and decide that you're going to compose those as needed. So having the ability to compose them manually is certainly a first great step, because you can really better use whatever resources you have and avoid waste. But really the next step is going towards automation of that. And that's one of the things that Liqid does. So the way they achieve that is that they have a kind of a PCIe controller, kind of top of rack controller. I don't remember if it's 1 or 2 U's, but it's just on top of there, and it connects to all of the servers via PCI Express. And actually what it allows to do is not just to pull the resources together, but it also helps create things which are not really possible if you were limited by the physical enclosure of a server. For example, in most servers you have, 4 or 6 PCI Express ports, maybe more depending on the form factor, but usually on your regular 2U server, that's what you get, like usually 4 ports. If you look at a Dell 730 or 40. And with composability, what you're able to do is that you're able to, via PCI Express, via direct PCI Express, you can get GPUs from one server. So we have one server with 4 GPUs, another server with 4 GPUs, and yet another server with 4 GPUs. So what you can do is pool all of these together and get a resource pool with, you can create a VM or a server which has 12 GPUs into it. Something which is not achievable, and you can deliver better performance. So this is a first step in composability. Right now, where we are is we're still kind of stuck, if I can say that way, with the x86 architectures of today, like rack mount servers, blade servers, and you have kind of the limitation of, let's say, the traditional CPU, the memory is bound to the CPU, and so on. But what is going to happen next is, and we'll try to talk about that here at TECHunplugged, is Gen Z. Gen Z is a kind of consortium, and with many participating companies. I think Liqid is part of them, by the way. You've got Liqid, you've got Dell Technologies, you've got HPE, and a bunch of them, Mellanox probably. I mean, everybody's into that. And what they're trying to build is a next generation architecture which is composable for data centers. So let's say it that way. The thing that you won't be able to split with Gen Z composable infrastructures is the CPU. The CPU will still be kind of a kind of monolithic element, which you won't be able to split across 2 or more servers. You won't be able to compose, let's say, CPUs across. Maybe I'm saying something stupid, but I'll double check that. But everything else, memory will be able to communicate. You will be able to get memory from one server and tie it to another server. So you could create a machine, a composable computer, which has, for example, 24 cores, and you will get, half a terabyte from one server, and you can get another chunk of 256 gigs of RAM from another server, and all of these channels together, actually. So it's really one of the things which is exciting. When I was at Dell Tech World, I was able to get a video or grab a couple pictures of one of the new prototype motherboards or cards, because this looks a bit like what we had in the mainframe era. And so you have these cards where you can put memory on them, and all of that is going to communicate probably through a specific bus. So we'll try to talk a bit more on that here at Tech Unplugged. I don't know if it's going to be a blog post, if it's going to be a podcast, perhaps with the Gen Z people, or if we'll even work on a paper. But anyways, that's a bit of some thoughts I wanted to share here, because otherwise, if I'm going to wait on posting, it will take too long. So thank you for listening to me, and I wish you a great day.